All right, grade 11s. So in this video, I'm going to go over an example. If you look carefully at this example and you're in my class, you know that you've just seen a video for this. But why I'm covering it myself is because I want to show you how I would approach it. I'll explain the difference from my approach to the textbook's approach at the end. So it says, what amount must be invested? Okay, for 2 years. So then I immediately write down that my n is equal to 2 at an interest rate of 10%. Okay, so my I is 10%, which is also 0.1. Cool. Per annum compounded quarterly. So I know that my compounding period is 4. So it's 4 times a year. It's compounded quarterly to yield a growth of 10,000. All right. So if I wanted to yield a growth of that, that means I wanted to accumulate to 10,000, which means that this, what amount must be invested? Well, then they're asking me to find the principal. Okay, I like to write this little setup for all of my finance questions. It's a quick way for me to see what I have and what I'm missing. So now that I know that I'm dealing with compound interest at a quarterly compounding period, I'm going to go ahead and write the regular formula that I know, which is A equals P1 plus I over K to the power of N times K. Now you'll notice if you're in my class that this is where we differ from the textbook. Okay, so I'm going to now substitute. A is equal to 10,000. My P is still unknown. 1 plus, I know that I is 0.1 and K is 4. Again, N is 2 and K is 4. So I can simplify this to 10,000 equals P1 plus 0.1 over 4 to the power of 8. And if I really want to, I can simplify that bracket. 1.025, I believe. Yep, 0.25 to the power of 8. Must remember to use a comma. Now notice that that's how I'm leaving it. If I take this to the power of 8, I'm going to get a really long decimal, and I don't really feel like having to deal with that, writing out all those decimals, because if you recall, we cannot round off in finance until the very end. Now I want to get this P by itself, okay? So currently it is P times this entire bracket. So if I want to get the P by itself, I'm going to do the opposite of timesing by this. And the opposite of timesing is dividing. So I'm going to divide both sides by this bracket. So I'm going to get 10,000 divided by 1,025 to the power of 8. And that'll give us just P. Now, what I can do is just plug that straight into my calculator, and I will get 8207,46570, blah, blah, blah. But because we're dealing with rands, we know we need to round off to 2 decimal places. So it's going to be 8,207 Rand and 47 cents. Okay. Now, what I want to show you is why I wanted to do this a bit differently. What your textbook has shown you is this formula. P is equal to A, 1 plus I over K to the power of negative N K. Now, if you can remember that, that's really great. But for me personally, I like to take the easy way out, if I'm being honest. I don't want to have to remember another formula. And this one is already so similar to the one that's on the formula sheet, I'm less likely to forget it. So if you're like me and you don't want to remember this formula over here that isn't anywhere on your formula sheet, you can do it just by using your regular formula and solving for P. All right, guys, I just wanted to show you that you have options on how to answer this. All righty, now, as we were.